For all those fanciful things that they claim they could not do in 8 years, but they can do in 4 years with Dr. Bawumia, it boils down to the economy and jobs. And I was very happy when she said that their manifesto is in 3 phases: what they met, what they had done, and what they would do.
Abusia lawyer Beatrice Annan Edin Semi Ababe Suja Edia Fa Yewura Dr. Bawumia a campaign sorry or yehu. K Black Media ne subscribe na like in the comments na share na for France nya bi enhwe. Lawyer Beatrice Annan sama wakan na so say Bawumia enkasa mfa economy ne ho no nya SMS toilet. Me ba digitalization, me ba me say na me ba no se onkasa emfa economy no. Oso ye economist onkasa emfa ho na even dollar crampo ne time omunya maaye no na dollar e wo form se a dollar enenam 17 cedis dollar e nanim ye pa to onkasa emfa economy hu no wonya se ne campaign messages o dey ma me ba me say no onjai sa ensem ni nyina ka no ma nani nko economy ne hu abusu community lawyer Beatrice Annan Enfama.
This campaign is about the economy and jobs and nothing more. So, for all those fanciful things that they claim they could not do in 8 years, but they can do in 4 years with Dr. Bawumia, it boils down to the economy and jobs. And I was very happy when she said that their manifesto is in 3 phases: what they met, what they had done, and what they would do. And sometimes I wonder whether the MPP, they have conscience, because you would doubt whether, there is a way you can gaslight people when everything is wrong, and you keep telling people that, oh, choboy, the origin of choboy, oh, it will get well. That's different from when people are so removed from the reality. The Ghana we left for the MPP is a Ghana with an exchange rate of 4 cedis to $1. Today, the Ghana we have is an exchange rate of 17 cedis to $1. How do you tell any logical mind that you have done better, for which reason they should vote for you? The Ghana we left you is with an inflation rate of 15%, where Dr. Bawumia said that it was terribly bad and unconscionable, and it represented wickedness that inflation should be at 15%. Today, we have an inflation rate of 22.1% at the time when it moved from 54%. And here, let me pause and say that when the inflation rate is 22% today, it doesn't mean that the 22% is good. It means that we have moved from 54%. And it cannot go up because it's a rate. It's not the prices. It's the rate at which prices go up. So at a point, the bread which was 5 cedis will become 12 cedis. When inflation starts coming to 22, it doesn't mean that the prices of bread has reduced. It means that you've already experienced the 54% and you are adding on the new rate of the 22%. So that in itself cannot even be an achievement, especially when you took us to 54%. That is the Ghana that we have now.
Oh, but it's an achievement when the rate slows down.
From where? It's anticlimax. You've got to 54% and you're now declining. It doesn't mean that you are doing something to make the lives of the people better, because you got to that mess already. Now, public debt. Dr. Bawumia is on record to have rented every university lecture room or lecture hall in this country. That it was so unconscionable that the public debt from Nkrumah's time to President John Mahama's time has to be 120 billion, and that if they had access to those monies, there will be no community that will have a water and toilet problem. That they would have built 1,000 factories. This man was speaking so loosely, as if he was speaking to school kids. That was the Ghana we left you. Today, public debt is 762 billion and more. The unemployment rate, 8.4%. You said it was so bad. Today, it is at 14.7%. You see, all these things, one would say that maybe they are data and statistics. And I will not behave like Dr. Bawumia and say, I don't believe in the statistics churned out by the Ghana Statistical Service. So I'll go with their own statistics. Annie, do you know that over 850,000 people have been pushed down the poverty lines? These represent human lives that were not considered poor. But because of your mismanagement, you have pushed them down the poverty line. Today, they represent the poor people. 1.7 million people are multidimensionally poor. This is by the Ghana Statistical Service. Your favorite Calipo, which you were drinking and you were doing the Calipo challenge. Recently, Dr. Bawumia started the coconut challenge. Nobody followed him. Because coconut that was 50 pesos is now 7 cedis. And so even if your food soldiers decided to do the coconut challenge and they decided to do it morning, afternoon, evening, before they add the price of kenke, which is 5 cedis, 7 cedis, and they add the price of fish, they would have been spending 100 cedis. So they cannot join the challenge. So the challenge failed. The coconut challenge failed. The campaign message is about the fact that the people who led us into the mess, the people who told us that 4 cedi to $1 was so bad and today it's at 17 cedis, cannot all of a sudden make a 360-10 and tell us that, you know what, Dr. Bawumia was part of the government as head of the economic management team. He supervised the worst depreciation of the currency. That today, young people who cannot get jobs is the doing of Dr. Bawumia as the head of the economic management team. That many people whose businesses have collapsed because of the debt exchange, the pensioners who are dead, the people who cannot have access to their government bonds, and people are dying, some are in wheelchair. Recently, you saw the Tama CEO who just lost his life. Before that, his last words were that I worked, I saved, I did not live an extravagant life. I was told that I should put my money in an investment. Today, I cannot even afford 1,000 cedis. At my matriculation, that man was our guest speaker because he had accomplished. You have come to impoverish over millions of Ghanaians because why? You over-borrowed. The man who told us that we don't need to borrow because he has worked at the Bank of Ghana. And it's true, he went to the Bank of Ghana and printed in excess of 77 billion cedis for an election, causing our inflation to be where it is and the economic mess. It's telling us that in our manifesto, you know what? We have some beautiful policies. In fact, I have some apps I want to launch and keeps launching app upon the other. But I do not have the mental capacity and the administrative fortitude to make this country better. At least, Annie, if you cannot make the country better, if you cannot make the country what you said you would do, because let's say you made those promises on the campaign platform, you don't make it worse. Because the John Mahama you criticize and called him competent and called people to join you to say that this man, you vilified him so much. It's the John Mahama that people wish they were still buying the dollar for 4 cedis. Today, many businesses will wish the dollar was still 4 cedis. Many people will wish that they had John Mahama because nobody touched the savings of people. Everything is not well, and so the campaign is about the economy. And Dr. Bawumia has conveniently moved away from economy, from jobs, from hardships, and it's everywhere.
He has said that you're failing to see the linkage between digitalization and the economy.
What is digitalization? What he is doing is launching up. If there is any direct correlation between the economy and launching apps, why has he not launched an app to stabilize the city? Because that is the foundation of every problem we have in this country. And he knows that as someone who holds a PhD in economics and has sat in economic management meetings. At least Gabi told us that he and Ken Ofioriata were the magic ones. So why has he not launched an app? Because that is the foundation of the economy. Your credit score will be linked to your ability to purchase. Ask Loretta whether she's been able to buy Wache from the credit score that has been launched. Many young people people can't find jobs. We live in the country where we are sitting on a time bomb. Everything is not going right. When you go outside Accra, I've been to all 276 constituencies in Ghana, including one, making 276. Where the NDC started rural electrification and ended, your government has done zilch. Where the NDC was building schools, hospitals, in fact, go to any constituency. Recently, we were in one of the constituencies that in the north. The chief said that if you take the NDC out, or the development of the NDC out of the constituency, they will go back to creation. Because they are lights, they are schools, they are church compound, they are roads, their water system, everything was the creation and the doing of the NDC. So the campaign message is simply that Ghanaians are going into an election with two major political parties. One person's logic is that my government has failed, which is Dr. Bawumia. That my government has failed so much that I was not given the opportunity to salvage the government. That this government is so bad that their policies are so excruciating and bad. And so you forget the bad government, which I am part of, and vote for me to come and right the wrongs of the government I'm part of. So he's telling you as part of his campaign message, that's the e-levy which we introduced, and as head of the economic management team, Kojo Okonkuma told us that he was part, he will scrap it. The COVID levy which they introduced, he is promising to scrap. The banking tax which they introduced as head of the economic management team, he says that, you know what, you continue to suffer within this time. 26 days into the election, you continue to suffer. It is not, it is okay if you can afford food. I have some magic wand, but I cannot solve the magic wand because maybe Cinderella has not released the shoe. The joke and how we have reduced governance to. Ghanaians have the option to choose between the visionary John Dramani Mahama, whose vision and love for this country has shown when he was in power. President John Mahama may not be perfect and may not have been perfect, but President John Mahama over the years has demonstrated that if there is any leader that loves Ghana and is committed to the huge transformation of this country, it is him, John Mahama. Why do I say that?
But you can say same about Bawumia, may not be perfect. I mean, recently we were crying over
the challenge with Bawumia is that he has not accepted responsibility for this government.
Is that the only problem you have?
No, but how do you attribute the successes of a government to someone who says that I'm not part of the failure? You can only be that, yes, I accept responsibility for this. I could have done it better. I have done A, B, and C. He says that I am not part of this government because I don't take the ultimate responsibility. So you cannot come back and say,
no, he can never say he's not part of
let
this
me
government.
see. The only thing you can credit him with is as chairman of the police council. You've seen police brutalities to the democratic hub and everything. Have you heard him speak about it? The point I'm making is that as electorates, as Ghanaians, I want to say that elections have consequences. And though political parties may not be perfect, it is important that you weigh the benefits and the disadvantages and make a choice. Because speaking for President Mahama, I can tell you that in the area of health, the NDC and President Mahama, at the time of accounting to the people of Ghana, could boast of the UGMC, the Bogatanga Hospital, the Ridge Hospital Phase 1, the Dodowa Hospital, the Bank of Ghana Hospital, the Maritime Hospital, and many more hospitals which we were almost operationalizing before we left power. That is the track record of the NDC today.
Agenda 111.
Where is Agenda 111? Where is it?
Free kidney dialysis.
Where is Agenda 111?
It's coming.
It's coming after 8 years.
It's coming up. They're building.
Where?
At various stages of completion.
So we are comparing a man and the political party that has 8 years and can show you regional hospitals, quaternary hospitals. As for district hospitals and polyclinics, we don't mention them because we have so many to our credit. We are talking about monumental investments in health. The NPP has zilch, no single regional hospital to their credit, no single quaternary hospital. When we had COVID, it took the vision of the NDC to sustain. That is the choice the Ghanaian people have.
I was saying, I lawyer Beatrice Annan in summer or cow say economy no be hard and your mob so I did dollar srokwana airco. It's why also me bar, messy toilet, me bar digitalization, me bar, me mamma phone, no much cheap and kakran na sebu and quote baby. Also on casa enfa economy system now I very hard, you know. On your campaign emphasize because also your economist on kasa emphasize no nya me ba so sad ende on no enya dwen abusia chiro dwen comment section like na share na afoforo nso nya bi enhwe makram.